Alpha Energy, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. In a world of endless chatter and noise, true power lies in the ability to communicate with precision and impact. The most influential people understand that every word they speak carries weight, and they leverage this understanding to maximize their effectiveness while minimizing unnecessary dialogue. Consider the difference between a rushing river and a quiet ocean. The river makes constant noise as it flows, drawing immediate attention but quickly passing by. The ocean, vast and deep, moves with silent power that shapes continents. This same principle applies to human communication. Those who constantly speak, sharing every thought and reaction, are like the rushing river, initially engaging but ultimately exhausting their impact. The ones who choose their words carefully, speaking with purpose and precision, command attention like the ocean, their influence felt long after they finished speaking. Lesson 1. They speak less, say more. The art of speaking less while saying more begins with a fundamental shift in how we view communication. Instead of using words to fill silence or establish presence, alpha communicators use language as a tool to create specific outcomes. They understand that each sentence should serve a purpose, whether it's to inspire action, share crucial information, or build meaningful connections. This intentional approach to communication naturally eliminates the fluff, filler, and nervous chatter that often dilute our message. This principle manifests in various ways across different contexts. In negotiations, it appears as the power of the strategic pause, letting silence do the heavy lifting while others rush to fill the void. In leadership, it shows up as the ability to distill complex ideas into clear, actionable directives that inspire rather than confuse. In personal relationships, it emerges as the capacity to express deep emotions or important truths without drowning them in excessive explanation. The practice of speaking less while saying more requires a level of self-awareness and discipline that most people never develop. It means becoming comfortable with silence, learning to resist the urge to elaborate unnecessarily, and developing the confidence to let your words stand on their own merit. This skill becomes particularly powerful in high-stakes situations where clarity and impact matter most. Consider how this principle plays out in the corporate world. While others deliver lengthy presentations filled with jargon and repetition, the alpha communicator cuts through the noise with precise, memorable statements that drive their point home. They understand that attention is a finite resource, and they respect both their time and others by making every word count. This approach to communication also builds an aura of authority and wisdom. When someone speaks less frequently but delivers high-value insights when they do, others naturally lean in to listen. They develop a reputation for being thoughtful and decisive rather than reactive and verbose. This reputation becomes a form of social capital that compounds over time, opening doors and creating opportunity. The practice extends beyond verbal communication to written words as well. In an age of endless emails, messages, and digital noise, those who can communicate clearly and concisely have a distinct advantage. They understand that every unnecessary word dilutes their message and taxes their readers' attention. Mastering this trait requires deliberate practice. It means regularly auditing your communication for unnecessary words, practicing the art of the pause, and developing the confidence to let your actions speak alongside your words. It means resisting the common urge to over-explain or justify, trusting instead in the power of well-chosen words delivered with conviction. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the ones doing most of the talking. They're the ones whose words carry weight because they've mastered the art of speaking less while saying more. This principle, when consistently applied, becomes a cornerstone of personal power and professional success. Lesson 2. They act even when afraid. Fear is the constant companion of every great achiever throughout history. What sets extraordinary people apart isn't the absence of fear, but their relationship with it. They've learned to harness fear as fuel rather than letting it become a barrier. This vital distinction transforms ordinary people into unstoppable forces. The myth of fearlessness has done more damage than good, creating an unrealistic standard that makes many people feel inadequate. Every successful person experiences fear before major presentations, when launching businesses, or while making life-altering decisions. The difference lies in their response to that fear. They've developed the ability to act despite their racing hearts and churning stomachs, understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. This capacity to move forward while afraid stems from a deep understanding that growth and comfort cannot coexist. When you examine the lives of influential leaders, you'll find countless moments where they chose action over paralysis. Consider Sarah Blakely, who built Spanx into a billion-dollar empire while battling self-doubt daily, or Richard Branson, who launches ventures despite his dyslexia and natural introversion. These people don't wait for fear to subside, they move forward with it as their companion. The key lies in reframing fear as excitement. Physiologically, fear and excitement produce similar responses in our bodies: increased heart rate, heightened awareness, and surges of adrenaline. The only difference is our mental interpretation. By consciously choosing to view these sensations as signs of opportunity rather than danger, we transform fear from an obstacle into an ally. Taking action while afraid also builds a powerful psychological foundation. Each time you push through fear, you create evidence for your future self that you're capable of handling challenging situations. This evidence becomes a reservoir of confidence you can draw from when facing new challenges. The brain begins to associate fear not with danger, but with impending achievement. People with alpha energy understand that waiting to feel ready often means waiting forever. They recognize that action precedes confidence, not the other way around. By taking consistent action in the face of fear, they develop a reputation for reliability and strength. Others begin to see them as dependable forces who can be counted on when situations become difficult. This approach to fear also creates a compelling presence that others naturally gravitate toward. People are drawn to those who can maintain their composure and continue moving forward when others freeze. This magnetic quality isn't about being fearless, it's about being real with your fears while refusing to be governed by them. The practice of acting while afraid requires starting small and building progressively. Begin with situations that trigger mild anxiety and gradually work up to bigger challenges. Each step builds your capacity to handle larger fears, much like building a muscle through incremental resistance training. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to develop a stronger relationship with it. Your ability to act in the face of fear becomes one of your most valuable assets. It sets you apart in business negotiations, personal relationships, and leadership opportunities. While others hesitate, you move forward. While they wait for perfect conditions, you create them. This trait alone can become the difference between a life of quiet desperation and one of bold achievement. Fear will always be present when you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. The question isn't whether you'll feel afraid, but whether you'll let that fear define your boundaries. Those with true alpha energy have decided that their dreams are more important than their fears, and they prove it through consistent action. Lesson 3. Their posture commands attention. Your body speaks before your words do. In every room you enter, your physical presence sends immediate signals about your authority, confidence, and personal power. The most successful and respected people understand this fundamental truth. Posture isn't just about standing straight, it's about commanding the space you occupy. The human brain processes visual information in milliseconds, making snap judgments about status, authority, and trustworthiness based largely on how someone carries themselves. When you walk into a boardroom, restaurant, or social gathering, people are already forming impressions before you utter a single word. This unconscious evaluation system is hardwired into our biology, dating back to our earliest ancestors who needed to quickly assess who held power in their social groups. Your spine is quite literally the backbone of your presence. When you maintain an aligned, open posture, you trigger a cascade of physiological changes. Your testosterone levels increase while cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases. Your breathing deepens, oxygen flow improves, and your mind becomes sharper. This isn't just about looking confident. You actually become more confident through this biological feedback loop. The shoulders tell a story of their own. Rounded, forward-hunching shoulders signal defensive posturing and insecurity. When you roll your shoulders back and down, you expose your heart center, a universally recognized signal of openness and strength. This subtle adjustment transforms how others perceive you and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself. Movement patterns reveal even more about your inner state. Those with true alpha energy move deliberately and economically. They don't fidget, pace nervously, or make excessive gestures. Their movements are smooth and purposeful, creating an aura of control and self-assurance. This quality of movement comes from a deep sense of being grounded and present in their bodies. The head position is particularly crucial in projecting authority. A slightly lifted chin, coupled with a level gaze, communicates equality and command. This differs markedly from either looking down, submission, or tilting the head too far back, arrogance. The sweet spot lies in that natural, aligned position that allows you to look others directly in the eye without strain or artificial posturing. Your stance affects not just how others see you, but how you think and perform. Research shows that adopting powerful postures for even a few minutes increases risk-taking behavior and pain tolerance while improving performance in high-pressure situations. The body-mind connection works both ways. Changing your physical state directly influences your mental state. Personal space management is another crucial aspect of commanding presence. Those with alpha energy naturally claim their territory without apology. They stand their ground when appropriate and respect others' space without yielding their own. This spatial awareness becomes particularly important in professional settings, where subtle positioning can determine who controls the interaction. The most powerful aspect of commanding posture is its authenticity. When properly aligned, your body naturally emanates strength. This isn't about puffing up or making yourself artificially large. It's about claiming your natural power through proper alignment and presence. The goal isn't to intimidate, but to communicate clear, confident energy that makes others feel secure in your presence. The mastery of physical presence requires consistent awareness and practice. Start by checking your alignment several times throughout the day. Notice how you sit, stand, and move. Pay attention to when your posture collapses and what triggers those changes. As you develop this awareness, you'll find yourself naturally adjusting to more powerful positions, and your presence will begin to command attention without effort. Lesson 4. They set boundaries with ease. The most respected people share a common trait that sets them apart. They establish and maintain boundaries with a natural grace that commands respect without creating resentment. This ability isn't just about saying no. It's about crafting a personal space that allows them to operate at their highest potential while fostering healthier relationships with others. These boundaries manifest in various aspects of their lives. They understand that their time, energy, and attention are precious resources that must be protected. When someone asks for a meeting, they don't automatically default to yes out of obligation. Instead, they assess the request against their priorities and respond accordingly. Their calendar becomes a reflection of other people's demands. In professional settings, they establish clear parameters around their work. They don't hesitate to decline projects that don't align with their expertise or goals. When they do take on responsibilities, they communicate their terms up front, whether it's about deadlines, resources, or decision-making authority. This clarity prevents misunderstandings and sets the stage for successful outcomes. Their personal relationships reflect the same principle. They don't engage in drama or get pulled into others' emotional turbulence. When friends or family members attempt to cross established lines, they respond with calm assertion rather than defensive anger. They understand that true relationships thrive on mutual respect, not unlimited access. The power of their boundary setting lies in its consistency. They don't make exceptions based on guilt or manipulation. When they say they don't take calls after certain hours, they mean it, regardless of who's calling. This consistency trains others to respect their boundaries naturally, reducing the need for constant reinforcement. Most importantly, they view boundaries as a form of self-respect rather than selfishness. They recognize that maintaining healthy limits allows them to show up more fully in their commitments. By protecting their energy and focus, they can give more quality attention to what truly matters. Their boundaries become the foundation that supports their success and well-being. Peace people also understand the reciprocal nature of boundaries. They respect others' limits just as firmly as they maintain their own. This mutual respect creates an environment where clear communication and healthy interactions become the norm. They don't take offense when others set boundaries with them. Instead, they appreciate and honor these limits. Their boundary setting extends to their digital lives as well. They don't feel compelled to respond to every message instantly or remain constantly available. They create deliberate spaces between themselves and the constant demands of technology, allowing for deeper focus and genuine disconnection when needed. The ease with which they maintain boundaries comes from deep self-awareness and conviction. They know their values, priorities, and limits, intimately. This self-acknowledge eliminates the need for lengthy explanations or justifications when they enforce their boundaries. A simple, "that doesn't work for me," carries the weight of their authentic truth. Through consistent boundary setting, they create an invisible force field that naturally repels what doesn't serve them while attracting opportunities and relationships that align with their values. This selective permeability becomes one of their greatest assets, allowing them to navigate life with clarity and purpose while maintaining their personal power and peace of mind. Lesson 5. They lead without needing followers. True leadership has nothing to do with the number of people following you. The most powerful leaders understand that their authority stems from their unwavering commitment to their vision and values, not from the validation of others. They embody what they believe in so completely that others naturally gravitate toward their energy and example. These self-sufficient leaders operate from a place of inner certainty. They don't waste energy trying to convince others to follow them or seeking approval for their decisions. Instead, they focus on executing their vision with precision and integrity. When they succeed, they don't need to broadcast it. When they fail, they don't need to defend themselves. Their actions and results speak for themselves. The paradox of this leadership style is that the less you need followers, the more likely you are to attract them. People are naturally drawn to those who are complete within themselves. There's something magnetic about someone who moves through life with clear purpose, unburdened by the need for external validation. This authentic confidence creates a gravitational pull that no amount of deliberate persuasion can match. Consider the entrepreneur who builds their business not to impress investors or competitors, but because they genuinely believe in their solution. They work diligently, refining their product or service regardless of whether anyone notices. They don't chase trends or pivot based on popular opinion. Instead, they stay true to their original vision, making improvements based on real market feedback and their own high standard. Eventually, their unwavering commitment attracts not just customers, but loyal advocates who believe in their mission as much as they do. This principle extends beyond business leadership. In any field, those who lead without needing followers focus on mastery rather than influence. They understand that true power comes from becoming exceptional at what they do, not from managing others' perceptions. They invest their energy in developing their skills, deepening their knowledge, and refining their craft. The respect and authority they command are natural byproducts of their excellence. Self-sufficient leaders also understand the importance of solitude in leadership. They're comfortable making unpopular decisions and standing alone when necessary. They don't need constant input or consensus to move forward. This independence allows them to act swiftly and decisively, often putting them ahead of those who are paralyzed by the need for group approval. The path to becoming this type of leader starts with developing unshakable self-trust. It means learning to validate your own decisions and actions without looking for external confirmation. It requires building such strong conviction in your values and vision that other people's doubt or criticism becomes irrelevant. This internal alignment creates a presence that others can sense and respect, even if they don't fully understand it. Leading without needing followers also means being willing to be misunderstood. Not everyone will grasp your vision immediately, and that's okay. The self-sufficient leader knows that their role isn't to convince everyone, but to stay true to their path. They understand that the right people will recognize and align with their vision when the time is right. The most powerful aspect of this leadership style is its authenticity. When you lead without needing followers, you're free to be genuinely yourself. You don't have to maintain a facade or adjust your behavior to keep people engaged. This authenticity becomes your greatest strength, attracting others who resonate with your true nature rather than a carefully crafted image. Lesson 6. They listen more than they speak. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the ones dominating the conversation. Instead, they're the ones absorbing every word, catching subtle inflections, and reading between the lines. This deep, focused listening isn't passive. It's an active form of power that gives them an unmatched advantage in every interaction. True listening requires a fundamental shift in mindset. Most people listen while mentally preparing their response, essentially engaging in parallel conversations, the external dialogue and their internal monologue. Alpha personalities understand that this divided attention diminishes their power. Instead, they immerse themselves completely in the speaker's world, temporarily setting aside their own thoughts, judgments, and the urge to interfere. This level of attention creates an almost magnetic effect. When someone feels truly heard, they develop an immediate trust and openness with their listener. They share more, reveal deeper insights, and often expose valuable information they hadn't intended to disclose. This is why listening is not just a social skill, it's a strategic advantage. Every conversation becomes an intelligence-gathering opportunity, providing insights into others' motivations, fears, desires, and plans. The art of listening extends beyond merely hearing words. It encompasses reading body language, noting emotional undertones, and understanding the context behind what's being said. Alpha listeners pick up on inconsistencies between verbal and nonverbal cues, sensing when someone's words don't align with their true feelings or intentions. This deeper understanding allows them to respond more effectively and maintain control of situations without obvious effort. Listening also creates a powerful dynamic of reciprocity. When people feel heard, they naturally want to return the favor. This means that when alpha personalities do speak, others are more inclined to pay attention and consider their words carefully. Their selective speech carries more weight precisely because it emerges from a foundation of understanding rather than a need to be heard. In negotiations and critical discussions, superior listening skills become even more valuable. While others rush to advocate their positions, skilled listeners gather crucial information about the other party's true needs and concerns. This knowledge enables them to craft solutions that address underlying interests rather than surface demands, often leading to more favorable outcomes with less resistance. The practice of deep listening also serves as a form of emotional intelligence training. By regularly immersing themselves in others' perspectives, alpha personalities develop stronger empathy and better emotional regulation. They learn to respond rather than react, to understand before seeking to be understood. This emotional mastery becomes evident in their presence. They emanate a calm confidence that draws others to them. In our age of constant distraction and information overload, the ability to truly listen has become increasingly rare and therefore increasingly valuable. Those who master this skill stand out immediately. Their presence creates a distinct atmosphere. People feel more understood, more valued, and more inclined to share their authentic thoughts and feelings. This creates a virtuous cycle where better information leads to better decisions and stronger relationships. High-pronounced people harness listening as a tool for building influence without obvious effort. They understand that every conversation is an opportunity to strengthen their position through understanding rather than assertion. By choosing to listen more than they speak, they paradoxically increase the impact of their words while gathering the intelligence needed to make better decisions and maintain their edge in any situation. Lesson 7. They make decisions without delay. The ability to make swift, confident decisions is perhaps the most visible marker of alpha energy. While others wrestle with analysis paralysis, true leaders understand that the cost of indecision often outweighs the risk of making the wrong choice. This isn't about reckless impulsivity. It's about recognizing that momentum is a force multiplier in both business and life. Decision-making is a muscle that strengthens with use. Every time you postpone a choice, you're not just delaying an outcome. You're reinforcing a pattern of hesitation that erodes your authority and diminishes your impact. The most successful people have developed a refined decision-making process that allows them to assess situations quickly and act with conviction. Consider the experience of a seasoned emergency room physician. They don't have the luxury of extensive deliberation when a critical patient arrives. Through years of practice, they've developed the ability to synthesize information rapidly and take decisive action. This same principle applies to leadership in any field. The more decisions you make, the better you become at recognizing patterns, assessing risks, and trusting your judgment. The fear of making wrong decisions often stems from a misunderstanding of what failure truly means. A wrong decision, promptly recognized and corrected, usually causes less damage than prolonged indecision. When you make a choice and it proves suboptimal, you gain valuable data that informs future decisions. This real-world feedback is invaluable for developing better judgment. Difference-making efficiency doesn't mean eliminating careful thought. It means developing a framework that allows you to process information effectively and move forward with confidence. Start by identifying the essential factors that influence your choice, set a reasonable time frame for gathering information, and commit to acting once that deadline arrives. This structured approach prevents the endless pursuit of perfect information that often leads to decision paralysis. Strong decision-makers understand the power of reversible versus irreversible decisions. Most choices in life are reversible, yet people often treat every decision as if it were permanent. This mindset leads to unnecessary delays and missed opportunities. By recognizing which decisions can be easily modified or undone, you can move forward more confidently and adjust course as needed. The respect commanded by decisive leaders comes not from their perfect track record, but from their willingness to own their choices and their consequences. When you make a decision, stand behind it fully until evidence clearly shows a need for adjustment. This demonstrates both confidence and adaptability, two qualities that naturally draw others to your leadership. Time is often the hidden cost of indecision. While you're deliberating, opportunities pass, resources are wasted, and team morale suffers. The ability to make timely decisions creates momentum that energizes those around you and builds organizational velocity. This forward motion becomes self-reinforcing as quick, effective decision-making inspires confidence and attracts opportunity. The most powerful aspect of decisive action is its effect on personal authority. When you consistently demonstrate the ability to make clear choices without unnecessary delay, people naturally look to you for leadership. This isn't about being the loudest or most forceful voice in the room. It's about being the person who can cut through complexity and uncertainty to chart a clear path forward. Decision-making skill, like any other capability, develops through practice. Start with smaller decisions and gradually take on more significant choices as your confidence grows. Pay attention to the outcomes, learn from both successes and failures, and continually refine your approach. The goal isn't to eliminate uncertainty, but to become comfortable acting in its presence. Lesson 8. They never explain what doesn't need explaining. The most powerful people understand a fundamental truth. Not everything requires an explanation. While transparency has its place, the compulsion to explain every decision, action, or preference gradually erodes authority and betrays an underlying insecurity that diminishes personal power. Consider how a master chef presents their signature dish. They don't accompany it with a nervous litany of explanations about each ingredient choice or cooking technique. The dish speaks for itself. This same principle applies to personal and professional leadership. When you know your choices are sound and your actions align with your values, excessive explanation becomes not just unnecessary but counterproductive. The habit of over-explaining often stems from a desire to be understood or liked, yet paradoxically this behavior can achieve the opposite effect. Each explanation offered without prompt suggests a lack of confidence in the original decision or action. It's like repeatedly apologizing for a gift you've given. The more you justify it, the more you undermine its value and your judgment in selecting it. This principle becomes particularly crucial in leadership positions. A leader who feels compelled to explain every decision to every stakeholder quickly loses the mystique and authority that effective leadership requires. Instead, strong leaders share information strategically, providing context when it serves a purpose, and maintaining silence when additional explanation would only dilute their message or authority. The art of selective explanation extends beyond professional contexts into personal relationships. Those who command genuine respect understand that their preferences, boundaries, and personal choices don't always require justification. No can be a complete sentence. This is my decision can stand without supporting arguments. This isn't about being curt or dismissive. It's about recognizing that not every choice or action needs to be defended. The ability to resist over-explanation also preserves mental energy and time. Every unnecessary explanation is a small withdrawal from your personal power bank. It's exhausting to constantly justify yourself, and it creates a pattern where others come to expect elaborate explanations for even the simplest decisions. Breaking this pattern may feel uncomfortable initially, but it's essential for establishing and maintaining personal authority. Understanding when explanation is truly necessary requires emotional intelligence and situational awareness. There are times when context and clarification are vital, such as when teaching, mentoring, or building consensus for significant changes. The key is distinguishing between these situations and instances where explanation serves only to assuage our own insecurities or respond to others' unwarranted demands for justification. The practice of selective explanation also creates an aura of mystery that can enhance personal power. When you don't feel compelled to reveal every thought process or motivation, people often attribute more depth and consideration to your actions than if you had spelled everything out. This perceived depth can increase others' confidence in your judgment and decision-making abilities. The most respected people master the art of saying just enough. They provide sufficient information for others to execute effectively or understand critical points, but they resist the urge to over-elaborate. They understand that their actions, results, and presence should do most of the talking. This approach not only preserves their energy and time, but also maintains their position of authority and commands genuine respect from others. Lesson 9. They're unfazed by opinions. The truly powerful understand a fundamental truth. Not every opinion deserves equal weight in their decision-making process. This isn't about arrogance or dismissiveness. It's about maintaining a clear vision and strong internal compass while navigating the constant noise of others' judgments and suggestions. Consider how many groundbreaking innovations would never have materialized if their creators had listened to every skeptical voice. The Wright brothers were ridiculed for believing humans could fly. Einstein's theories were initially dismissed by the scientific community. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Yet these people remained steadfast in their convictions not because they were immune to criticism, but because they had developed an inner certainty that transcended external opinions. This unwavering focus stems from a deep understanding of one's values and priorities. When you know exactly what you stand for and where you're heading, others' opinions become data points rather than directives. You can evaluate feedback objectively, extracting valuable insights while discarding what doesn't align with your core mission. This selective filtering is crucial for maintaining momentum and preserving mental energy. The art of being unfazed by opinions requires a delicate balance. It's not about building an impenetrable wall against feedback or developing an inflated ego. Instead, it's about creating a robust internal framework that helps you distinguish between constructive criticism and unnecessary noise. This framework is built on self-knowledge, experience, and a clear understanding of your goals and values. Those who master this trait exhibit a particular kind of confidence that draws others to them. They don't react defensively to criticism nor seek validation for their choices. Their responses are measured, thoughtful, and often minimal. This steady composure sends a powerful message. Their self-worth and direction are not up for public debate. The ability to remain unfazed also comes from understanding that most opinions are reflections of others' fears, limitations, and projections, rather than accurate assessments of your potential or path. When someone says, "It can't be done," they're often really saying, "I can't imagine doing it." Recognizing this helps maintain perspective when faced with skepticism or negativity. Developing this trait requires practice and conscious effort. It starts with building a strong foundation of self-trust. Each time you make a decision and stand by it despite contrary opinions, you strengthen this foundation. Each success, and even each failure that you learn from, becomes evidence supporting your ability to chart your own course. The most powerful people understand that universal approval is not only impossible but undesirable. They recognize that breakthrough achievements often require going against conventional wisdom and accepting that some people won't understand or support their vision. This acceptance frees them from the exhausting pursuit of pleasing everyone and allows them to focus their energy on what truly matters. The truly unfazed individual also knows when to seek and value specific opinions. They cultivate relationships with mentors and peers whose judgment they trust, while remaining selective about whose input they incorporate into their decision-making process. This discernment is what separates being unfazed from being obstinate. In professional and personal relationships, this trait manifests as a quiet confidence that earns respect. When you're not constantly swayed by others' opinions, you become a stable force that others can rely on. Your consistency and self-assurance create a gravitational pull that attracts opportunities and allies who appreciate your unwavering nature. This immunity to external opinions becomes particularly valuable in times of criticism or crisis. While others might crumble under public scrutiny or negative feedback, those who have mastered this trait maintain their course with steady determination. They understand that temporary disapproval is often the price of long-term success and innovation. Lesson 10. They choose growth over comfort. The path of least resistance beckons constantly, offering its siren song of familiar routines and predictable outcomes. Yet those who embody true alpha energy understand that growth and comfort cannot coexist. They recognize that every moment of discomfort is an opportunity for expansion, and they lean into these challenges with purposeful intention. This choice manifests in their daily habits and long-term decisions. While others seek shortcuts and easy wins, they deliberately pursue the harder path, knowing it leads to exponential returns. They sign up for projects beyond their current capabilities, engage in conversations that stretch their perspectives, and regularly place themselves in environments where they're not the smartest person in the room. This isn't masochism, it's strategic discomfort with a purpose. The alpha mindset approaches personal development as a non-negotiable investment. They view skills, knowledge, and experiences as compound interest, accumulating value over time. When faced with a choice between an evening of passive entertainment or an hour of focused learning, they consistently choose the latter. Their question isn't, should I grow, but rather, in which direction should I expand next? This commitment to growth extends beyond professional development. They understand that emotional intelligence, physical wellness, and spiritual depth are equally crucial territories for expansion. They might spend time processing difficult emotions instead of suppressing them, push through physical limitations in their fitness routine, or explore philosophical questions that challenge their existing beliefs. Each domain of growth feeds into their overall presence and power. What sets them apart is their relationship with failure. Where others see embarrassment or defeat, they recognize the invaluable data that only failure can provide. They've learned that the fastest way to success is through rapid iteration and willing exposure to potential failure. This mindset allows them to maintain momentum, where others become paralyzed by perfectionism or fear. The growth-oriented alpha doesn't wait for opportunities to arise. They engineer situations that force evolution. They might deliberately take on speaking engagements despite their fear of public speaking, or accept leadership roles that require skills they haven't yet mastered. They understand that growth happens in the gap between current capabilities and new challenges. Their commitment to growth influences their social circles as well. They naturally gravitate toward others who challenge their thinking and push their boundaries. They seek out mentors who have walked the paths they aspire to travel, and they're willing to invest time and resources in relationships that catalyze their development. These connections create a powerful feedback loop of continuous improvement. The most profound aspect of choosing growth over comfort is its effect on decision-making. When growth is the primary filter, choices become clearer. The question shifts from what's easiest to what will make me better. This clarity extends to business decisions, relationship choices, and personal habits. They evaluate opportunities not by their immediate pleasure or pain, but by their potential for expansion. The alpha energy that emanates from these people comes from their evident potential for further growth. Others sense their capacity for advancement and naturally want to align themselves with this upward trajectory. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle where opportunities and resources naturally flow toward those who consistently choose development over stagnation. This choice for growth becomes most apparent in times of crisis or setback. While others retreat to familiar territory when challenged, they lean into the disruption, asking themselves, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? This resilience, born from a growth mindset, becomes one of their most distinctive and powerful characteristics. Lesson 11. They own their time like it's gold. Time is the great equalizer. Every person on earth gets the same 24 hours each day. Yet some people seem to accomplish exponentially more than others, wielding their minutes and hours with surgical precision. These high achievers understand a fundamental truth. Time isn't just money. It's the very essence of life itself. The way you treat your time reveals everything about how you value yourself and your mission in life. Those who command respect and achieve outstanding results approach time management not as a productivity hack, but as a fundamental expression of self-worth. They recognize that every yes is simultaneously a no to countless other opportunities, and they choose accordingly. These people have mastered the art of saying no without guilt or extensive explanation. They understand that protecting their time isn't selfish, it's essential for delivering value to others and achieving their highest potential. When they decline an invitation or request, they do so with quiet confidence, knowing that their time allocation aligns with their core priorities. What sets these people apart is their refusal to let others hijack their schedule. They don't automatically accept every meeting request, respond to every notification, or allow themselves to be pulled into other people's emergencies. Instead, they maintain strict control over their calendar, treating it as a strategic tool rather than a repository for other people's priorities. These masters of time understand the power of deep work and create environments that protect their focus. They block out significant chunks of uninterrupted time for their most important tasks, knowing that fragmented attention is the enemy of excellence. They're willing to appear unavailable, or even difficult, to preserve these sacred periods of concentrated effort. They also recognize that rest and recovery aren't luxuries, they're investments in sustained high performance. Unlike those who wear exhaustion as a badge of honor, these people schedule downtime with the same intentionality as their most important meetings. They understand that their energy, creativity, and decision-making abilities are directly tied to their ability to recharge. The most powerful aspect of their relationship with time is their ability to stay present. Whether in a meeting, conversation, or focused work session, they give their full attention to the task at hand. This presence isn't just about productivity, it's about respect for themselves and others, and it dramatically enhances the quality of their interactions and output. These people also understand the compounding effect of time well spent. They make decisions not just based on immediate returns, but on long-term impact. They invest in skills, relationships, and projects that may not show immediate results, but will yield exponential returns over time. This patient, strategic approach to time investment sets them apart from those seeking quick wins and instant gratification. Perhaps most importantly, they view time as a tool for impact rather than just a resource to be managed. They regularly step back to evaluate whether their time allocation aligns with their larger mission and values. This bigger picture perspective helps them avoid the trap of being efficiently busy while making no real progress toward their most meaningful goals. This elevated relationship with time creates a powerful ripple effect. Others learn to respect their boundaries, value their availability, and think twice before making casual demands on their attention. This mutual respect for time becomes a cornerstone of their professional relationships and reputation, further amplifying their influence and effectiveness. Lesson 12. They attract loyalty by being unshakable. True loyalty cannot be bought, demanded, or manufactured. It must be earned through consistent demonstration of unwavering character. The most powerful people understand this fundamental truth. Loyalty flows naturally to those who remain steady amid chaos, true to their principles regardless of circumstances, and reliable in both word and action. This unshakable quality manifests first in emotional stability. While others ride the roller coaster of reactivity, the alpha maintains their center. They process setbacks privately, celebrate victories with quiet confidence, and navigate conflicts with steady composure. This emotional constancy creates a gravitational pull, drawing others who seek shelter from life's storms. Their word becomes an unbreakable bond. When they commit to something, it gets done. No excuses, no deflections, no renegotiation. This reliability builds deep trust over time. Team members learn they can stake their own success on the alpha's promises, while competitors come to respect their integrity even when it works against their interests. The unshakable leader's reputation becomes their most powerful asset. They hold fast to their values without wavering, even when it costs them in the short term. If they believe in treating employees fairly, they'll maintain high ethical standards even during a downturn. If they value innovation, they'll keep investing in R&D even when others cut corners. This principled consistency inspires others to align themselves with someone they know will stay true to their moral compass. The unshakable quality extends to their vision and direction. While they remain flexible in tactics and open to new information, they maintain crystal clarity about their ultimate destination. Team members feel secure following someone who knows where they're going and won't be blown off course by temporary obstacles or criticism. This steadiness in purpose creates a stable foundation others can build upon. Even in crisis, they radiate calm capability rather than panic or doubt. They've developed the inner strength to weather any storm without being destabilized. This comes from having faced and overcome serious challenges in the past, building confidence in their ability to handle whatever comes next. Others naturally look to them as a source of strength when things get difficult. They take responsibility rather than casting blame, own their mistakes without defensiveness, and give credit generously to others. This emotional maturity and security makes them a safe harbor for loyalty. Team members know they won't be thrown under the bus or have their contributions minimized. The unshakable leader creates psychological safety through their own example. Most importantly, they remain loyal themselves to their principles, their people, and their purpose. They don't abandon ship when times get tough or chase short-term gains at the expense of long-term relationships. This reciprocal loyalty creates powerful bonds that withstand the tests of time and circumstance. The unshakable quality that inspires loyalty isn't about being rigid or inflexible. Rather, it's about having such a solid foundation of character, capability, and conviction that you can remain steady while still adapting and growing. Like a mighty oak with deep roots, you can bend with the winds of change without breaking. This is the essence of the alpha who attracts enduring loyalty, not through force or manipulation, but through the magnetic pull of their own unshakable nature.